We're doing the manga minute. Boom, hard, fast cuts,
Boom.
baby.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
The manga minute, where we're talking about, I didn't write down the name of the manga. This episode
I didn't either because that's normally something you do.
I'm gonna. I got it.
It's Isekai, Tensou, sarete.
It's close.
something.
Today, this week's
Shinigami Death Game.
Let me do it. This week's manga minute is Isekai Death Game ni Tensou Setere Tsurai? Something like that. Anyway, it's an adorable type of manga where it says Isekai in the title, but it's not really that. So let me set the stage for you. There's the salaryman. He's overworked, and he takes a break, and he's sitting on the balcony smoking a cigarette. And he's like, oh man, I wish I was just dead at this point. I have so much work to do. And boom, he gets teleported to like a demon world arena, and you see like the Grim Reaper faced over with the scythe and the skull mask over, and they're like, welcome to the death game. You've all wanted to die, so here's your chance. The last winner will survive. And basically he trolls her to let everybody go back to the real world, and he ends up winning.
Hold on. It's not enough to say he trolled her. He used the power of, I would say, autism and bureaucracy and rule bending, because he was very nitpicky. He's like, what are the rules? And she's like, last guy standing gets to go home. And he's like, what do you mean standing? Is everyone else, do they have to be dead? And she's like, yeah, they have to be dead. He's like, well, who checks that they're dead? Who confirms this? That kind of thing.
It's very like bureaucratic lawyer type. Now this is actually, so anyway, the story goes on, and he ends up winning that. He's like, hey, you should apologize to me. In fact, I didn't even want to die. I was just being hyperbolic with my like sighs and stuff on the thing. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. This is my first time like doing a death game. So a death game is the death gods collect the souls of the losers and the winners like at the end of the thing. But it's like, you totally messed up with this death game. And she's like, oh, it's my first little time. He's like, okay, so take off your mask. And it's, guess what? Like what we've all come to know and love in our Japanese anime. It's an adorable little girl.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, who would have ever known? And underneath the death god robes, she's in a little skull bikini. So it's like the most perfect type of thing. In fact, this is probably the thumbnail on the clip that we're using. So it's the best. The stories goes on. There's only a couple chapters out now. I think there's probably 5 or 6 chapters out, and it goes through different death games. So he ends up he gets roped into some other games and like accidentally, but it's the same little death god. And eventually he gets fed up and he's like, hey, I need to talk to your manager. Like, I'm upset. Like, you keep screwing around with me. I don't want to be in any more of these death games. And so he becomes not friendly, but acquaintances with the higher up death gods. And then like next chapter, he goes and he gets hit by a bus and like a truck sama and gets isekai'd for real. Yeah, you didn't read all these chapters.
I've only read 2 chapters.
Yeah,
because I figured that would be enough to get the gist all, and I didn't want to read all 5.
It's so good. Chapter 3, he gets isekai'd by truck sama, and he wakes up and it's a demon, which is not one of the Shinigami death gods. Is like it's another faction, and they're like, oh yeah, so your role here is traditional in this world. Like, you have to make it great and rule, and the ruler of this world lives, and everybody else is like, it's like a death game, but it's an isekai. And he's like, nah, this is dumb, like, I already know. And she's like, how do you know about the Shinigami? And he calls him there because he has their cell phone number now, so he pages them up, and he's like, and the demon's like, oh my god, how is this guy? It's like, you must be. He's like, I know all about this, I've already won 3 death games. It's like, you've won 3 death games? Like, and it's like, you must be the strongest soul in the world, but obviously he's not. It's fantastic.
I like that trope of like a guy who's like too cool, not just too cool for like whatever shenanigans are going on around him, but he's above it all. Like, he doesn't have time. He's a busy office worker.
Yeah, he's like, it's like children. He's like, he's treating these death gods like they're children, and it's hilarious. Yeah. The chapter after that, this is probably all spoilers, but it's still fun to read it. So I'm not like, it's not a plot heavy twist. I'm not telling you that L dies. The next chapter, angels. So we've got the 3 factions now. So there's angels trying to recruit people, souls. There's the demons, and then you got the Shinigami, and they work in like a 3-way rock paper scissors type of Fire Emblem trifecta, and they go all against each other. And it's a very fun, lighthearted manga. It's done by the people that do Aharen-san, which is, you know, that little shy girl that doesn't know how to talk to people. I don't know if you've probably read that. It's a great manga if you want to read it for yourself.
Nobody knows what that is.
The passengers know because it's adorable.
Your cartoons.
It's like
your childish, weird. Probably I bet she has a fang, and I bet it's like a rom-com.
This guy doesn't do fangs, and that one's not really a rom-com because there's no romance. It's just calm. Aharen-san is just kind of a comedy. Like a slice of life, like light stuff. This one, like the main girl in here, awesome. It's the same type of like the main character from Aharen-san mixed with the tsundere Death God from The World God Only Knows, and like a sexier bikini. It's like the best. Like it's like really good. It's like really good. You got to read it just for that.
And to me though, she struck me as run-of-the-mill ponkotsu, to revitalize that term again.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of the charm, I think.
Actually, I don't know what main character you were referring to, but she seems kind of useless, like in general, kind of one-dimensional though. You're saying like there's more to the character after chapter 2?
Slightly, but probably not that much. Like just enough to like be like because a useless death god is, you know, kind of cute. Like because it is. It's subversing the tropes. It's like, oh, there's the god of death. It's like her for like there's a whole chapter that follows her and in the Shinigami world, which is just basically like the mirror world of our own. They've got skyscrapers and buildings and everything looks very nice and clean, and they're just doing like little office things. You know how in Japan how they do like the office like fitness things in a group beforehand. It's all very weird, and they're like, yeah, like we're gonna work hard today, like yeah, hurrah. That type of thing, and it's fun. That was a boring chapter, but because I like the things where the main character uses his bureaucratic autism to defeat demons and things like that. I think that's always the best thing. Best. I definitely recommend this manga. It's adorable and great and kind of funny, and it's a little bit of a twist. It's on what you would normally expect. It's probably worth your time. There's only 5 chapters out right now.